The story of King Nurga from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 64. King Nurga was a celebrated monarch of the Ikshvaku dynasty, renowned throughout the three worlds for his extraordinary charity. He was so devoted to the act of giving that the scriptures record he gave cows in charity, numbering as many as the grains of sand on the earth, the stars in the sky, and the drops of rain falling from the clouds. Each cow he gave was young, healthy, with calf, and accompanied by her calf decorated with gold ornaments covered with fine cloth, and given to qualified brahmanas along with land, gold, sesame, and all necessities. His gifts were given with full Vedic ritual in clean, sacred places at auspicious times to recipients of the highest character. Yet despite this ocean of piety, a single act of negligence destroyed the merit of an entire lifetime. The fatal mistake among the countless cows King Nurga gave away, one cow escaped from the herd of a brahmana who had received her and wandered back among the king's cattle. Without knowing this, the king gave that same cow to a different brahmana. When the first brahmana discovered his cow in the possession of another, a dispute arose. Both brahmanas came before the king. Each claimed the cow. The king, deeply distressed, offered both brahmanas 100,000 cows of equal quality in exchange, pleading with them to release him from this offense. But neither brahmana would agree. They departed in anger, and King Nurga was left bound by a sin he could not undo. The judgment of Yamaraja when the king's life came to an end. Yamaraja, the lord of death and justice, asked him which he wished to experience first, the results of his pious acts or his sinful ones. King Nurga chose to suffer first. Yamaraja then pronounced the verdict. Because he had given another man's property, even unknowingly, he was condemned to become a lizard, a Kukalasa, and to remain buried in a dry well for countless ages. The Kukalasa form, specifically a large chameleon or monitor lizard, is significant. It is an existence of near total immobility, darkness, hunger, and helplessness. This was the fate of one of the most charitable kings in history. The Bhagavatam teaches through this that even the greatest accumulation of piety cannot neutralize an offense against a brahmana or the appropriation of another's property, however unintentional. Liberation by the touch of Krishna. Many ages passed. During the time of Dvapara Yuga, the Lord Sri Krishna was present in Dvaraka. The young Yadava boys, while playing, discovered an enormous lizard trapped at the bottom of a dry well in the royal gardens. Amazed by its size, they tried but could not pull it out. They went and told Krishna. The Lord came to the well. He reached down his left hand and effortlessly lifted the creature out. The moment Krishna's hand touched the lizard, the curse was immediately dissolved. The animal form fell away. In its place stood a luminous celestial being of divine appearance, adorned with flower garlands, heavenly garments, and shining ornaments. His form radiated the splendor of liberation. This effulgent being bowed down before Krishna with great reverence and offered his obeisances. King Nurga speaks standing before the Lord. King Nurga identified himself and narrated his entire story with humility and clarity. He said, "I am Nurga, the son of Ikshvaku. You may have heard of me among the lists of charitable kings. I gave cows in charity beyond counting. But due to my negligence, one cow belonging to a brahmana was given again to another. Despite my attempts to make compensation, both brahmanas refused. I fell into this condition and have remained here through immeasurable time." He then offered glorification to Krishna, acknowledging him as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the creator, maintainer, and destroyer of all existence, beyond the reach of material qualities, the origin of everything. He praised the Lord as one whose feet are the shelter of all souls, and with deep emotion he said that it was only by the inconceivable mercy of the Lord that his long suffering had come to an end. After offering these prayers, with the permission of Krishna, King Nurga boarded a divine airplane and ascended to the higher planetary systems. The instruction Krishna gives to the Yadavas after King Nurga departed. Krishna gathered the Yadava elders and leaders, including Ugrasena and others, and spoke to them with great gravity. The Lord does not ordinarily instruct in this direct manner, so the assembly listened with full attention. Krishna said that a brahmana's property is like a fire. It burns everything it touches if taken unlawfully. It does not destroy gradually like ordinary fire. It destroys the entire family, the sons, grandsons, lifespan, fame, beauty, strength, and fortune. Not even a king, not even the gods, not even he himself, Krishna said, should covet or take what belongs to a Brahmana. He cited the example of Indra, who was struck down by the thunderbolt of a Brahmana's curse and fell from the heavens. He reminded them that the Vedic injunction is absolute. One must never take from a Brahmana, never dishonor him, never cause him distress. The Brahmana represents the highest function of creation, the channel through which divine knowledge flows into the world. To harm that channel brings devastation upon even the mightiest rulers. The Lord concluded by instructing the Yadavas to honor Brahmanas, to give them in charity, to bow to them, and to understand that the welfare of the entire kingdom rests upon maintaining their satisfaction. Key teachings of this pastime. The first teaching is that karma is exact. King Nirga was not a wicked man. He was among the most charitable human beings in recorded history. Yet one act of inadvertent transgression against a Brahmana produced a consequence that no amount of piety could dissolve. The law of karma does not bend to good intentions. The second teaching is the gravity of Brahmana aparada. Offense against a Brahmana is described in the Bhagavatam as among the most serious of all transgressions. The Brahmanas represent the mercy of the Lord in the world. Their property, their dignity, and their peace must be protected absolutely. The third teaching is the supremacy of the Lord's grace. All of King Nirga's charity, all of his accumulated piety could not liberate him. Only the direct touch of Krishna accomplished in one moment what lifetimes of virtue could not. This is the essential message of the Bhagavatam. Bhakti alone, the direct grace of the Supreme Lord, transcends the entire framework of karma. The fourth teaching is that even those in the highest positions, kings and rulers, are subject to the same law. Power does not exempt anyone from the consequences of a dharmic violation. In fact, the higher one's position, the greater the responsibility to uphold dharma in its fullness. Srila Prabhupada's emphasis. Srila Prabhupada highlights this story to instruct devotees that taking the property of Brahmanas, or the property of the temple, which is the property of Vishnu, brings the severest reaction. He draws the direct parallel that in Kali Yuga, many persons handle the property of the Lord and of the Vaisnavas carelessly or selfishly, and the karmic consequence is no less real for being unseen. He also emphasizes that this story glorifies the absolute supremacy of the Lord's mercy. The mere touch of Krishna's hand, a gesture requiring no ritual, no sacrifice, no elaborate atonement, dissolved an age-long curse instantly. This is the power of direct contact with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and it is the same mercy available through the chanting of the holy name, which is non-different from Krishna himself.